I'm declaring war, not on a person, but on a mindset. A mindset that steals your agency, makes you miserable, and convinces you that there's no point in trying. Doomerism. It tells you the world's over, that your choices don't matter, that society is collapsing, and it's better to check out. It's dressed up as realism, but it's really just fear with a filter. But before I get into more about my war on doomerism, which this is the first installment of, be sure to give this video a like. Comment how you find the light in the dark, if you will, to use the phrase of the fireflies from The Last of Us. Subscribe for cultural commentary and rants from a man caught between generations. And last but certainly not least, feel free to join me at the Zillennial Nexus Point Discord. Link will be in the description below. So like I said, this is the start of my war on doomerism. Videos where I push back against that way of thinking, not with blind optimism or toxic positivity, but with what I call grounded realism. Because if doomerism wins, people lose their sense of control, and once you lose that, you lose everything. You see it online every day. People saying the world's a prison planet. Like there's literally no escape, no joy, no point. There was a TikTok I saw Dapper Dev react to, where a guy was crying about feeling trapped in his office job, saying he just wants to go outside. I get it. It can be confining. You can feel trapped in a situation, but he could go outside without quitting his job. He literally has the option to go outside after work. Maybe it won't be perfect circumstances. Maybe it won't be as much time as he'd like. But he can still make it work. He can still go outside and do something. Just like I've been trying to do more stargazing outside in the evenings recently. Had a lot of cloudy nights since the last time I actually did it, but I can do it, and I have a pretty decent view from my driveway if I'm being completely honest. But that's beside the point. Getting back to the I just want to go outside guy, he can make small changes. He's just forgotten he has agency. Doomerism takes people who feel stuck and hands them a script that says, "You're right, it's all hopeless. Don't even try." And that's how it spreads. Not like a virus, but like permission to give up. That's why I make a point of looking at the positives in my life, despite the negatives. Like last weekend, when I made the mistake of taking the green line back to South Station from my movie, knowing the orange line was down, at least from North Station to Forest Hills, and I knew it would be packed. Well, I did feel almost traumatized by the overcrowding, which is why I got off 2 stops early and walked the rest of the way back to South Station, and then had to take a slightly later train home that doesn't go all the way to my closest stop. I did find joy in seeing the conductor, who was the same one from that morning, my inbound train. See, that morning, he had introduced himself after recognizing me from prior trips, and now we're on a first name basis. Also, I decided I would just plan better, meaning if I see anything other than normal service on the T website for the subways, I'm walking, because I walked to the museum that morning from South Station without needing to ask my phone for directions, by the way, something I'm quite proud of. Maybe I did look at the map once or twice, but I didn't plug in walking directions to the Museum of Science. Anyway, the point is, it's easy to choose fear, but there's a better choice. And I've learned that the hard way, like how I learned not to take the subway if any part of it is down for signal maintenance or whatever they're doing. Because if one line is down, then the other lines are going to get more crowded, dangerously overcrowded in the case of the green line from North Station, by the way. Anyway, most of life lives between extremes, like the fear versus love framework from Donnie Darko. And while it sounds dramatic, there's truth in it. Fear keeps you stuck. Love keeps you moving. The world isn't that simple, like Donnie said, I will acknowledge. But there's a middle ground I call reality. That's where realism lives. On one end, you've got Doomerism. Everything's ruined, it's all downhill, bruh. On the other, you've got toxic positivity. Just think happy thoughts and you'll be fine. Reality is in the middle. Take the subway again, at least under normal circumstances. Some people are jerks, some are nice. Like the nice people who helped me the first time, I clearly didn't know what I was doing, meaning they just told me that the motion thing was normal, and they helped me find a position that was best for where to sit or stand until we got to the stop. Yeah, everyone was really nice about the questions I had that day. But most people, they're just neutral, tired, zoning out. Maybe they'll do something mildly annoying, like on the train, I've had someone playing some video or song or something through the speakers on their phone instead of using headphones. But I just use the active noise cancellation on my AirPods and let it be. But anyway, the point is, that's reality. The middle. It's not perfect, but it's not hell. Like in Donnie Darko, Jim Cunningham tried to oversimplify life into fear or love. And while he was a fraud, he was accidentally right about one thing. You can choose which side you lean towards. For most of this year, I chose fear. I barely left the house. I mostly only went to the instant gratification job, therapy, and that was about it. I got annoyed by my mom's cleaning frenzies on the weekends. Eventually, I decided to do something about it, which was to just get up and leave. Work a few extra hours at the instant gratification job to be able to afford going into the city and changing my Saturday movie to one movie per week with AMC A-List, which is how I started choosing love. Love for life, experience. The fact that Boston even has a public transit system I can use to get into the city in the first place, and then to the museum, aquarium, or the movies. Realism means accepting what you can change and what you can't. Realism also means owning your situation. A lot of cost of living doomers talk like the world's unlivable, but they never look at what's optional. Like recently, I'm going to do a separate video about this. I cut all my streaming services, including Apple Music. The only one left is Prime Video. That's because it's bundled with Amazon Prime. I guess Apple Music too. Amazon Music, now that I think about it. And even then, I stopped paying the $3 ad removal fee every month. So now it has ads, which means I just don't use it. I can't change the economy, but I can change my spending habits and find alternative solutions, which I will discuss in that separate video I mentioned. That's realism. It's not sexy, it's not revolutionary, but it's power, because it reminds you you still have choices. Same thing with Boston Transit. I've heard plenty of people complain about delays or slow service, and I just complained about overcrowding on the green line because of the orange line being down. Hey, if you're relying on the transit system for work, I get it. But for me, it's leisure, so a delay just means I get home a little later, I take a later train, or I just walk instead. And even if I did rely on it, I'd plan to take the second but to last train before the last possible one where I could still make it to where I need to go. Anyway, the point is, Doomerism removes accountability, realism restores it. That is the big problem with doomerism. If you believe the world's a trap, nothing's your fault. But if you believe in realism, you have to face what is your fault. And that's where change begins. When I get frustrated at home because my mom's cleaning blocks me from the kitchen, I could sit and stew about it, or I can go to the city for the day. That's choosing agency. So reject doomerism, assess your situation, find out what you can do. Because once you remember you have agency, doomerism has no hold over you. So I'm going to wrap it up here for the video on that note. You let me know in the comments how you plan to reject doomerism and embrace agency. Be sure to also give this video a like, subscribe for cultural commentary and rants from a man caught between generations, and last but certainly not least, feel free to join me at the Zillennial Nexus Point Discord. Link will be in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.